Hello everybody, I am Baltmatrix and welcome to the Giant Robot News for today, Friday, July... Me Grimlock know what news! Hi Grimlock, what's up? You do too much news. You need to review. Okay, how did you get out of the display case? Me use fingers. Me slug help. Okay, alright, so both of you are here. What should I review?
You review that guy over there.
Oh, okay. Hi Sludge.
Hello.
The dinosaur mode is a pretty good representation of Sludge. We've got this nice big old Apatosaurus, even if it does look really weird proportionally. That's kind of the way it was in the show. No tail articulation, unfortunately. Hips and the back quadruped parts are ratcheted. The front are just on a swivel. Each limb has a swivel just above the foot, and then the front feet can move a little bit for the transformation. No real toe articulation at the rear. Head can look up and down. However, the connector for the dino head is a little bit on the loose side and does have a tendency to come unhinged or unpegged very easily. Swivel at the top, well, not the top of the neck, but where the gold part of the head moves. Hinge for the head can look all the way up and can look a good chunk of the way down. Mouth opens pretty well, and there is a gun inside those chompers, right there at the back of the throat. My big complaint with Sludge is he's too small. In dino mode, he really feels like he is the smallest of the three. And I really wish that it was bigger. I really wish it was a leader class figure. I'm sorry, not a leader class figure. This is a leader class figure. A commander class figure. That would have been preferable. Scaling to the other two Dinobots aside, I do like the figure in this mode. Transformation is joyously complex, at least compared to the other two. To start off with, just take the head, point it forward, and just leave it kind of like that. Then point the toes forward and come up to the top of the figure and grab these gold bits, and they will unpeg. And then you open up the rear part of the vehicle mode, of the dino mode. Come up to this section behind the head and fillet them open like that. And then we can take the front legs and swivel them down like so. And do that on both sides. So swivel them up underneath the dino mode into that hollow section. Then take the dino head and fold it out. And we can flip up the robot head. And then grab the legs, the rear legs, pull them out. Grab the section with the Autobot symbol, flip it up, turn it 180 degrees, and get the other bits out of the way. And then collapse it up to form the chest of the robot mode. And we've got a good chunk of it transformed. Grab these gold bits and then split them open and flay them out like that. Then you could grab the tail and flip that, split it and flip it up. Grab the entire rear section and flip it down and do it about halfway. Then split the back section open. And there is this little sliding pole that the knees will slide on, and it will slide down, and you can bring the knees up. And we'll do that on this side, slide it in, and bring the knees up. And then take those gold sections that were the upper dino back, fold them in, push the tails all the way down, flip them in like so, and then fold them down. And they will peg into just inside these little wing areas. Flip out the heels and snap them into place. Take the dino tail, fold them up and snap them into place, and we've got the legs folded up. Turn the legs 180 degrees, and then we'll finish the torso. Turning the figure around, we can take the dino toes and fold them all the way down, like that. Then grab the dino head and flip it back. Just a word of warning, when you get this figure, dino head is disassembled from the rest of the body, and it doesn't snap into place, it slides. There's a little slider bit right there with a, like right there with a tang, and it slides out. So just beware, you're not pushing it in. You're supposed to slide it in from the side, like that. And now we just take the arms, turn them 180 degrees, and reach underneath the dino toes to flip out the fists. The easiest way to get the fists out is to take your finger and push just at this little indentation, and then that will slide them out, and you can turn them off to the side. And we're pretty much done. That's all she wrote. And we end up with a good representation of Sludge that has some issues. The first thing to talk about is the overall look of the figure. It's fantastic. It looks great. It reminds me of the original figure, and I don't have any complaints about the looks, especially that head sculpt. It is spot on. I don't think we've ever had as good a head sculpt on a Sludge figure. No, the looks are absolutely perfect. No complaints with the way it looks. Yes, the figure has a bit of a backpack, and there's a lot of weight in that backpack. And unfortunately, my figure's knees are not that strong. I have already tightened them, and they are ratcheted. But in certain poses, he just falls over. Also, something you need to be aware of are these wings. The pegs that these wings are on are very loose, like incredibly loose. I'm using virtually no effort here, and they're just flopping about. So you do have to be a little bit careful. Speaking of the posability, head is on a swivel from side to side, and there is a little bit of up and down movement, but it's not from a hinge on the head. It's actually from his transformation. Shoulders are ratcheted for forward and back, and they are hinged for in and out, even though they are textured for ratcheting. Swivel above the elbow. Elbow bends over 90 degrees. Fists do rotate, but do not open and close. Torso articulation is looser than I would like, but nothing I can't fix. Hips themselves are ratcheted, forward and back. Swivel, or hinge, in and out. Swivel just above or below that. And then the knees themselves are ratcheted, but they're not long enough. They do ratchet, but they can't hold up the weight of the back or the figure if you have it in certain poses. So if you go to grab it like that, it just collapses. Now, these complaints don't mean that you can't pose Sludge. You're just limited in what ways you can pose the figure. This is the pose that I've chosen to show off the figure, and it's the way I'm going to have him displayed on my display shelf or display cabinet, and I think it works. Again, the only issue is these wings just have a tendency to, as soon as you pick the figure up, they just fall forward. It's not the end of the world, it's just annoying. At the end of the day, Sludge is a pretty good toy. It does have its flaws, and I'm actually tempted to pick up another one, maybe a little bit farther in the year, just to see if any of those flaws are mitigated. Specifically, the knees and the hips. If I can fix them, I will. I'll double check with Grim Locamus to see if he knows anything. I'm very happy with these three, flaws and all. 6-year-old me is just bouncing with joy over these things. They're big, they're fun to transform, they are exactly what I wanted from Dinobot toys. How big are they? Well, here's Prime, or the Earthrise Prime mold. These ain't tiny dinos at all, and they actually scale pretty well to Prime in the show. Just so much fun. Again, flaws and all. I'm really happy with them, and I'm looking forward to Snarl and Swoop whenever we get those figures. Overall, I think Sludge belongs in your collection, especially if you're a fan of the G1 figure. It's good, but it's flawed. Just be aware of that. So folks, let me know what you think of Sludge down in the comments. Thank you so much for watching. I have been Baltmatrix. Be sure to hit those like and subscribe buttons, and I will catch you all next time.